And was there explanations given for this? Did he claim that it was when he was drunk? Did he try and... No, he never gave any...
No.
He just crept.
Just very factual because he had to. Well, he was kind of quoted from his... He never said anything other than guilty once.
Yeah.
That's it.
And he had crept into your room as a small child.
Yeah, from 6, yeah.
So, okay, this is a most shocking moment for you that you're...
Well, it's shocking, but I'm finding this out in a room with him. Like he's sitting right there when I'm hearing these details. And my husband was beside me and my auntie was beside me, and they just said I got smaller. I remember just kind of disintegrating into the chair, and it just, like, to hear though that happening to anyone is gut wrenching, but to hear that it was you and you're only learning now and you can't react because you're in a courtroom and I don't want them to see me upset. And it's like they're all talking about my life, but I'm not allowed to be, I have to sit there. It's a very difficult situation to be in. Like,
incredibly.
To hear those details in front of him, like that was...
Was your mother there?
Oh yeah, she was sitting over beside him.
Right. And did she look at you?
Did she even react?
Right.
Yeah, no reaction. Stone-faced.
So after you get out of the public glare, which you feel you're in at this point, and you're disintegrating in the chair, like, how do you deal with that afterwards? When you're private and you can cry and you can, be devastated for the child you once were.
It's very hard. And like, I have a little girl, and like, it hits you sometimes when you don't expect it. So like, we decorated her bedroom and I was tucking her into bed one night and I was like, oh, your room is lovely. And it's just a lovely little moment, And I tucked her in, and as I pulled the duvet over, I just burst out crying and I couldn't stop crying. I obviously had to leave the room, and my husband settled her. And it was very much like I was that size, And like, she made her communion and I was like, oh my God. It started 2 years before that.
Yeah.
Like, I was a baby, and like a little tiny little girl.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's so bad.
Now I presume you continue with counselling.
Yeah. I did a trauma program. Actually, it was brilliant. Yeah.
So in the aftermath,
and I've access if I want to do more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we'll maybe go back to that, the counselling, and to can talk to people who out there, probably some people don't believe in it, but
I'm not sure if people don't believe it. I think in situations like mine, they're probably afraid of it. Like, if I say something, are they going to ring the guards? Are they going to mandatory report it to whatever? Will you lose control of it? If it was me now, I'd be afraid if I went in and said, will I lose control? Will they bring in people? I'd say that's what's stopping some people going.
Yeah.
And then your notes aren't confidential either. That was one of the worst parts of the whole court process.
Your notes weren't?
Yeah, he took my notes. Yeah, he got to read them all.
In that, when you made the statement, the notes and the counselling you had done to date, the amount of time you had spoken about
it all
this
went
happening
in the book of evidence.
Went into the book of evidence.
Yeah.
It was backing up what you said that day when you went into the police station. And that becomes the book of evidence. And obviously the accused gets that book of evidence.
And I don't.
And you don't.
Yeah. So I remember at the time the guard coming to my door and saying, I need you to sign permission for me to get your GP notes, any counselling, anyone I have ever spoken to, I have to give permission for. And I asked why, and she said it goes into the book of evidence. And I said, if I say no, what happens? She said the judge will subpoena them, and his side will use them. He will use it against you for not releasing them. So you don't have a choice really. So I had to sign it away, and I remember that I found that one of the most difficult parts. Like, I would not want to read my notes from my counsellor or my therapist or anything. That's not for me, I don't think. I wouldn't even like my husband to read them. It's intensely private and it's medical, and I don't think you should ever see the other side of your therapy notes personally. And for him to hear all of my hardest moments and darkest moments was soul destroying. For him to know the effect that it had on me. I didn't want him to know my name anymore. Never mind that he took me to my knees, that he brought me to that point. I didn't want him having that power. And knowing that he had that, and I couldn't even look at it, it was so bad. Like, that needs to be changed. That's barbaric. It's barbaric.
Yeah.
It's unnecessarily cruel, I think. And it will stop people going to.
For sure, yeah. I mean, you can totally see how it's almost where you talked about people you're losing control. You've lost the control there, haven't you?
Yeah, because they can use it against you. Like,
yeah. What sentence did he get?
Yeah, so it was a tricky one. So because it happened in the 90s, the maximum he could get was 5 years per count. So when I asked my guard, does that mean like 5 years, 10 times? Because it was 10 counts at the time. And she said, no, it's 5 years. I said, but if I rob a bank 10 times, do I not get 10 punishments? And she's like, no, 1. And I was like, okay. So I always knew then from that point, the max he can get is 5. He got 18 months plus 18 months back to back, not consecutively.
So he pleaded guilty to those 3 counts.
Yeah, and she had to take 7 into consideration.
And that would have basically shaved off some time off his sentence.
Yeah.
And the way that works is the courts see that, or the legal system that we have in this country sees that as saving you from having to give evidence, saving the state the money.
Oh, he gets rewarded even though he did it 2.5 years later. After,
and even if people plead guilty right up to the last minute, a jury can be sworn in, they still get benefit from that. And that's just the way our legal system is. There's nothing a judge can do about that. A judge has to follow the sentencing guidelines.
Oh, I wasn't angry with the judge. I was very, very happy with my judge. She was fantastic. I had Judge Orla Crow, and she kind of spoke to me, even though she couldn't directly speak to me. And I remember her saying, please, I know how long this has taken, but please give me a week. Please just give me a week. And then she came back with the sentence, and she gave him 18 months and then another 18 months back to back. And usually it's consecutively. So when I came out, it was like, okay, I couldn't count. My brain wasn't working. And my husband just said 3 years to me because I couldn't, my brain doesn't function in court. You just can't. You can barely walk. Like my legs would be like jelly. Like I just could not function. I could just listen. And he was like 3 years. And I'm like, okay. I was happy with that. Then I was told it'll be 27 months. This is in court. Before we even leave, before he gets to a prison, they all get 25% off automatically. 27 months he'll serve.
How would he have has he found prison? Because he's still in prison. He's about to be released, which is why we're talking about him. How would he have found prison? Do you think? Because you're going to have to put yourself into his shoes now, what kind of a person he is.
Okay, well, from what I've heard, and I hear things through the grapevine because my mother is still married to him and visits him every week. So I do hear things back. I heard him complain about his Christmas dinner. I've heard that he is in a section of Mountjoy for older people. And that he's kind of in a softer end. No one, I thought if he went to Mountjoy, they'd beat him up or that type of thing. There's been nothing like that. The only negative I've heard is the Christmas dinner sentence.
Right. They would tend to hold people like that together. And the jails obviously don't want
anarchy. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Beaten up as well.
No, I haven't heard any complaints from him anyway.
But I sort of mean what sort of a man he is, like,
Oh, he'll be quiet as a mouse in there.
Is there shame?
No.
Is there remorse?
No.
Nothing.
Can't be. If there was shame or remorse, he wouldn't have behaved the way he behaved in court.
Which was, he followed you around the courtroom.
He followed me around the courtroom. He tried to get off by going to the High Court. He leered at me in court. Like he sat back at one point like this, as if he was at a bus stop. There was no remorse there at all.
And he's never offered any apology, explanation.
I think they tried to offer an apology at the end of my victim impact statement. So I did my victim impact statement. I still don't know how I did that.
And did you read that yourself?
Yeah. While he's sitting beside you because of the layout of the court. And his barrister stood up and said, we've no questions in relation to the victim impact statement. But I'd just like to say, and when he said that, I stood up and said, no, thank you. And sat down. Because I assumed he was going to say, on behalf of blah, blah, blah. Because it was nonsense anyway. But I just said, no, thank you. And sat down.
And what did you say was the impact?
Oh God, it's so big. It's hard to even quantify the impact. It affects everything. Everything. And affects how I am as a parent. It affects my worries for my kids, like them going for sleepovers and things. I find that really, really, really hard. And I have to try and recognize why I find it hard, but also not impact on their childhood. And be aware of why I find things more difficult.
Is there a time you speak to the children about that? Do you keep it open in the household? Or?
Well, it's open to age appropriate open. Like, so I was in hospital a lot. So in my victim impact statement, I counted the days between my statements and that day. And it was like 2,000 days or something like that. And I had spent over 500 in hospital.
Right.
Just in that. I think it was a 3-year period. So I was away from my children.
Your children, yeah.
Obviously, they knew I was in hospital. They knew that something had happened. They knew that something happened that was really bad. And that the person was going to go to prison, but they knew that I had to go to court. And that's why, like, Mommy's upset. That's why Mommy's in the hospital. They're helping her because court is very hard. That was as far as we went. That was enough for them.
Yeah. And exactly. And you're keeping it open in many ways by having that conversation when the time is right.
But I will have to talk to them at some point. And
do you wait till they ask, or what? Have you had advice on that?
No, I will. Like I'm kind of good. My gut instinct's fairly good. Like my eldest is 20 and he would know who is in prison.
Yeah.
And he would know I don't speak to my mum, and he would know I had a very, very bad childhood. He hasn't asked about the details of court. He hasn't read any of the press or anything that happened at the time. He doesn't want to know the details. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Whenever he does, I'll tell him, you know.
And when you waived your anonymity, because in actual fact, let's talk about you as a victim and how you found the process. You've said how horrific it is. Explain to us how difficult it is to, face somebody down. He's got 18 plus 18 months. He'll have served 27 months by the time he's released in October. And he's coming back out. He's a free man. He will be on the sex offenders register, which will, he will have to give his address. He should not be unsupervised with children.
Who's going to enforce
and
that?
He will be monitored, well, that's what they're supposed to do, isn't it? He's supposed to be monitored and et cetera, et cetera. But he is going back to the relationship he has with your mother.
Yeah.
And I think that betrayal is a whole other layer, I'm sure, of everything for you. But how is it for a victim? Does it feel as if you're the one in the dock, really?
Not that you're the one in the dock, but it just feels like the other side has all the information and you don't.
And the power?
All of it. I remember, I don't know which person said it to me, and I found it horrific, this sentence. And I really need for people to hear this, because when I heard it took the legs out from under me. And the other victims will hear this and they'll be told, this is not your case. You are a witness. And when they said that to me, they might as well have hit me with a baseball bat. Like, I could not understand. I understand now what they meant, but when it's your whole life on the line, really, and they tell you this is not your case, you're a witness, it's just terrible. The language it's just so bad.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
Does it make you want to go back and reverse out of that police station?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Yeah. It's just, it's all not geared towards, but it is really all aimed at the accused. Like I'm kind of drip fed information, like him knowing all the counts and what they were, and I didn't, and him knowing what was in that file from the Granada Institute, and I didn't know, and like my guard knew that because she'd interviewed him, and the DPP knew that, and everyone knew, and I didn't know. Do you know, it's very much like your phone rings and you get like a little nugget of information and you wait for 3 months and it might ring again or it might not. And then you could ask a question and it'll say, I can't tell you that.
And the 2.5 years you have to wait for him to be in prison, is that when you spend most of that time in hospital?
Loads of it.
Yeah.
Every time something changed, every time something was cancelled, the legs would go from under me.
You could not cope with those things?
No, because it was the unknown. It was the lack of control. I remember someone saying to me, oh, but it's so far away. Like, don't panic now. Like, don't lose sleep over it now. And I'm like, it's like someone saying you're going to get hit by a train in 2 years and 2 months. You're going to get injured. We're not sure how bad it's going to be, but don't worry about it because it's 2 years and 2 months away.
It's a really good analogy.
No, but how are you supposed to live? How are you supposed to be calm and enjoy family life? And when this huge thing is coming down the line, like it's so hard to explain it. Like it's the lack of information, the language that they use that you don't understand, like not knowing what to wear, going to court, not knowing where to stand. Like I wish someone had told me when you walk into the CCJ, he could be standing behind you, walking through security. Or I went to get a coffee and my mum and him were getting a 3-course lunch in the queue. And I couldn't even eat, and they're having lunch and you can't breathe. There's nowhere to go. Like luckily I had the rape crisis centre and I couldn't have done court without them. They have a separate unit in CCJ that's private. You can get away there. But to get there, you have to go through the main thoroughfare. So I'd come an hour and a half before I needed to be there. I didn't want to run into him. Then I'd wait an hour and a half afterwards before I'd leave. I'd send people out to check he wasn't outside. You just feel like there's an animal loose and you don't know where it is. Like people need to know that. They need to know you're accused. The person you're accusing could be in the queue behind you.
I totally get that. And I've seen that happen so many times.
No, I never would have known that.
No. And there are those practicalities that people are forgetting to tell people like you. That
I just think when people, typically when something happens, like what I've gone through, when you get through court and everything, from people I've met, that's it then. They just want to put it behind them. So there isn't anyone to ask. Like there's no one to talk to. Like there isn't a guidebook on how to do this. Like it's like this horrible club. And I know that's a terrible way of putting it, but like I'm in this horrible club and there's a small amount, thank God, a small amount of the population that are in the same club as me. But it means you've no help. Like you can't Google.
What about the victim support unit? Were they with you? Did you have any help in the courts?
I just had the rape crisis.
Is that what they call the victim support unit?
That's the rape crisis centre.
That's what you had?
Yeah.
But there's people that they're a voluntary body as far as I know and they will go into court.
That's what the rape crisis centre did.
That's what they did for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And did they stay, was someone able to stay with you all the time?
All the time. Yeah. They're appointed to you. So you say, I'm in court at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And Mary say, we'll meet you and she will stay with you all day.
And you have people that have to use public transport to get to court and they will have the accused who can be out on the same train.
Yeah, it's like, you just don't think of things like that. And I kind of thought...
And maybe you need someone else to take responsibility of that kind of stuff for you. You've so much going on yourself. You need somebody else out there to work out how you're going to get to and from court.
Or the likes, you can't bring food or drink into the court. Be there all day. You can't bring anything in.
Which brings you to that queue you're talking about where your mother and he were having lunch.
Yeah.
Because there's only one place within the courts to have a cup of coffee or something. It's a canteen-like sort of area.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I mean, stuff
just
that
the practicalities. Like once I got into the victim suite, I felt safe. But I didn't breathe until I got in there. Do you know? And then once I'd leave, I'd be like, okay, watching everywhere. I had to go to the toilet. I was afraid to go to the toilet in case my mum was in there. You know, like it's
a nightmare.
I know they're probably not allowed, but people that are being accused of massive crimes like that should be in a waiting room separate to the CCJ.
And of course, most of them are out on bail.
Yeah.
Because it took 2 years and 2 months to get there.
He was always out right up until sentencing,
If he had been in custody up until then, he would have been walking out the door with you because he'd have served his full sentence. Had he been in custody. And you don't feel as if you're afraid of him?
No, I'm not afraid of him. I don't want to breathe the same air as him. I don't want him taking up space in my head. I don't want him in my world at all.
So you got no necessarily sense of relief that he was being jailed, other than probably you were believed, but you didn't get that sense of, I can relax now for a while. He's locked up in it.
Well, I did a little bit. So I had, like during the court process, he's obviously was on my mind a lot. And I'd have this thing where I'd be driving along and I'd be convinced he just drove past me in the car. Or I'd be afraid to go over near Lucan. Wouldn't go to Liffey Valley. Wouldn't go anywhere out that way in case I drove past him or walked past him in Liffey Valley or anything like that. So I'll be back to that now.
Mm.
in a month.
You will be.
Yeah. And also because he's still married to my mum.
You do have certain interactions.
There will be.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Not planned on your side.
But there'll be like funerals and things like that.
And I suppose, finally, if you want to talk about this, that betrayal I spoke about, you know, you had two parents, you believed,
Both to be parents.
Both to be parents. Your father, who turns out to be your stepfather, nonetheless, Noel Foran, he is your father at that point. He comes into your room and he violates you in the way he does. The betrayal of a mother, when you go to tell her, how do you work all that out, counselling or not? Like, and especially as a mother yourself now, you can feel the bond that you have.
But it's kind of a running joke in the family. Like, if I just do the complete opposite of what my mother did, I'll be a great mother. You know, look, I don't want to make light of it. It's not nice. I was kind of robbed when it came to the parenting deal.
You stood in the wrong queue.
Yeah, I got the bad end of the deal. You know, like if sometimes I'd be on holidays and I'll see people and they'd go away with like their mum and all the grandkids or like Mother's Day. I hate Mother's Day and I have my own kids and no matter what my husband does, I just hate and it hurts. Mother's Day just hurts. But not because of her. It hurts because I wish I had a mother like me or the mother I should have had. I have a yearn for that, not for her.
Yeah. And you had your grandfather, you had your aunt, and you have obviously got a very stable relationship. Many other people don't. Those kind of things, I'm sure, help, but they don't totally. They don't totally feel that yearning.
Oh, well, they never will. Like I think biologically, you're supposed to have a mum and a dad or a family that you're close to core. It's weird not, like, you know. I mean, I'm young, like I'm 40, and to have no parents at 40, like is. I had no parents at 30 either. You know.
Yeah.
There's a missing role there.
Arguably, you had no parents at 11.
Yeah. Well, realistically, I really didn't. It's a sad reality, really. You know, everyone should have that. Yeah, there's no way around that, really. It's just, and she chooses him over and over, you know?
Yeah. Like, and what can you hope, talking about this, obviously, I think you've really raised issues there for people going forward. Yeah. People who have that 2 years, 2 months to wait.
Yeah.
And you've probably given really good little pieces of information and advice for them. Do you have another message? Would you encourage people to walk into that Garda station and make that statement? I feel as if you've had a...
I think it's a very, very personal decision. I think if you're doing it, you'd need support. Even if it's like a really good friend or a really good neighbor, or you just need support. It's a very long process. It's a very difficult process. I'd highly recommend the Rape Crisis Centre. They were fantastic.
You might not get a particularly long sentence at the end of it, given how somebody feels if these crimes have been committed against them.
I don't think there is ever going to be enough.
There's never going to be enough. But you do expose, and you have...
Yeah.
He will go back to his community. And you'd like to think that most right-minded people will shun him for what he's done.
Just so that they're aware with kids around the area. Yeah. Like, it's important that they know, like, that the danger is there, you know? I'm not sure there's no payout at the end of it, like, but I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't gone into that Garda station.
Yeah.
That's the difference. If I hadn't made my statement and gone through what I've gone through in the last few years, like my doctor said, it would have eaten me up from the inside out.
Yeah, and probably destroyed everything around.
I think I would continue to be traumatized. I think I would always be traumatized. I was always in fight or flight mode. If someone walked anywhere near me, I'd jump out of my skin. Couldn't use headphones. That type of thing. That was my life. And I kind of thought that was normal. I was very jumpy. No, I wasn't. It was PTSD. But with all the therapy and the work and the fact that he has gone to prison, I have got to say my piece. I had him in the newspapers. People know what he did. People know what I've gone through. And it makes more sense for me. I just disappeared for those 3 years. No one had any idea what was going on. I couldn't tell anyone in case it ruined the trial. So I've got my life back because I made that statement. That was the payoff.
he has to face out now because you also waived your anonymity, because you could have been entitled to that.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
But that was attached to his?
I think it was important. I think the main reason...
If you hadn't have done that...
I had to do that.
He would have remained anonymous.
Oh, yeah, he would have slipped in and went
benefited.
home. Yeah. His family didn't know. He didn't even tell his family. So his family found out on RT News and rang me. He told nobody.
Right.
He was hoping to slip in, slip out, and never tell anyone.
And he was banking on your fear...
Yeah,
and a lack of courage that you were going to want.
Well, that's why he was walking around the court following me, because he thought I would crumble. But I didn't.
Well, I think your kids and your family and all your loved ones can be very proud of you. And thank you for telling that story. Thank you very much, Irene Cullen.
Thank you.
I'm Nicola Talent, and you're watching Crime World, a podcast about criminals, drugs and the underworld in Ireland and across the globe. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can be the first to watch all our latest episodes. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts.